Well, outside of the video store is a show called Our Far Stones. Our lists are gonna combine. It's the end of this line. Who's gonna win this fucking bet? Is it gonna be Andrew? Or is it gonna be me? Or is it gonna be Cody?
Can't be me.
Somebody's gonna have to listen
Wait
to
a
20
minute.
songs in a movie. Yeah.
Wait a minute, that makes me really nervous. It's like,
You know when your favorite TV show changes the theme song on you after you've been in love with it for so long? That was that. I was really pissed off during that. I like the creativity, but don't ever do that again. Thank you.
No. Okay.
God, if Cody somehow wins this bet and both of us lose, chaos.
Yeah.
You're going to listen to a lot of
it's
REO
it's a tie.
Speedwagon.
I'm okay with that, actually. But with that being said, welcome to Off Our Stones. The combined list is almost here. You got one more section of the list where Brooklyn and I are going up against each other, song versus song. Since we're so close to the end, we decided just to finish off the rest of the uncombined list. So you're getting 15 matchups today, baby. You're in for a long one.
Supersized episode. Morgan Spurlock will make a documentary on it and then get bored and then make a sequel on that documentary.
A sequel that is very unfactual, apparently.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the score right now is 61-58. Brooklyn is 3 points behind. But once again, there are 15 matchups today, so anything can happen. Cody is the people's champ here today. He is going to be picking which song is the better song. All of these songs will be on the list. Which one will be ranked higher? Whoever wins at the end of this episode gets to pick the 20 song playlist for the loser to listen to. The only thing they can listen to for a week, and they also have to watch a movie of their choosing.
You ever seen Poggy Beach?
That makes me real nervous myself. So, Brooklyn, any thoughts before we head into the final section of our uncombined list?
I think you're the favorite here. Like you're a minus 500 favorite. I'd say I got some catching up to do, and like I have to have some pretty good outcomes in terms of like the brackets.
I will help everybody else out. Brooklyn helped himself. I don't see any Billie Eilish on this list, so got a shot.
That's a plus. You know, we're making steps.
Yep.
Growth.
However, there may be no Billie Eilish, but there is Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan versus Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Dangerfield. Harvey Danger. Woo! Mr. Producer Man, have you already been drinking? Okay, I guess that's the case. Brooklyn, how about you start us off while I get Mr. Producer Man sobered up?
Yeah, so this spot was Times Like These by the Foo Fighters for the longest while, and then the more that I thought about it, I was like, oh, Flagpole said this is kind of the cooler version of the song. It has the same kind of chord progression. It's used a lot in movies. Dickie Roberts' former child star is the one that always comes to mind for me. But it has like that kind of like almost swingy kind of style about it, like I Had Visions, I Was In Them, and like how they're kind of emphasizing the I verb or whatever. But then you just get into the chorus, and it's so catchy and relatable, which has been a key component of this list, and especially as we're getting here, I think this is the top echelon of like, I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and I'm so hot because I'm in hell, and it's like that. It's that almost release of just realizing like where you are at the moment isn't the greatest spot, and it's like, hey, I'm in a place that's kind of on fire right now. But I just think it's a very chuggy sort of anthem that is almost forgotten about.
If your song's about a place that's on fire, this is fine. So Like a Rolling Stone, Bob Dylan. This is when Dylan went electric. You get more of the jangly electric guitars, as well as those really great organ, like the keyboard, almost like organ sound. Sounds perfect in this song. I love the construction of this song. It's not necessarily anything that's like super different or super impressive, but it's just so solid. And it just keeps the momentum going for the entire length of the song, which for a song as long as this one, it's a little hard to do. This has some of Dylan's most biting lyricism. It is directly aimed at rich people, basically saying, look, if you hit rock bottom, you're gonna hit hard, and we're gonna really kind of revel in that. I think that it's just a fantastically crafted song, one of Dylan's best. And with Flagpole Sitta, I really enjoy this song a lot. I do. I think literally my only issue with you having it here is having it here. You had it at 48. I just think that's a little too high, buddy.
So the reason that I have it this high is because I think just everybody forgets how awesome the song is. Nobody ever really remembers it. But when you pop it on, it's like, oh yeah, this is the song. Because nobody ever really thinks of like Harvey Danger as a band, or like even and amongst our community, nobody's really in like, oh yeah, like I follow these guys quite a bit. Like they're kind of like a flash in the pan. Whereas with Like a Rolling Stone, like I understand why you have it on your list. Everything you said is accurate. I think last time that we talked about this, Kirk was on the episode, and I remember talking about the Siamese cat line, and then and how did you discover that? I think that's really clever. It's just this gets played to death. This is like a block of butter, and it just, you take off a layer every time, and now we're at the edge, and we're kind of scraping, and there isn't really anything new to kind of discover about it. Whereas I get that with actually some other songs of yours on this list. But yeah, I just think it's been talked about to death. Like this song should be retired.
The only thing I will say to close us off with is that there are some songs where there is a reason that they hit that level of play. And I think that this one speaks enough for itself. But let's see if the voice of the people agrees with that.
That's Bob Dylan. No one cares, Bob Dylan. Gosh. You have the audacity to look at Brooklyn and say 48's too high for this. You have this at 53. You pop this on the regular?
Yeah, I do, actually.
I mean, it's lower from where it is on the original list.
I do.
Well, okay. The original list doesn't count. Those people are morons. Have you seen what they did to Disney songs? Stop it.
Have you seen what they've done to rap groups?
True. So I saw Flagpole Sitta, and I said, huh? All right, what Canadian crap are Brooklyn giving me now? That second played, I knew exactly what song this was. It has no, like I heard the song way more growing up. Easy pick for me to that Flagpole Sitta. I don't ever think I will listen. If I listen to Like a Rolling Stone by myself anywhere, something went wrong. So I'm in a wrong room somewhere.
This makes more sense now because I remember Boatman saying that he also really enjoys the song.
Listen, the weird thing is you're here, you present these lists, you combine them, and these numbers go through, and you actually are never really held accountable for what you've done. 53 and 48 of these are your top song. That's cool. That's top 50 song of all time. Flagpole Sitta versus Like a Rolling. Y'all are nuts.
Yeah, fair.
I'm just looking for justice here. That's all I'm looking for.
So I'm not gonna lie. I told you ahead of time that there was a small handful of matchups where I was like, I'm losing this one, and this was one. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I know you.
I mean, we've been through this for a couple of, what is this, episode 13? You know what's artist I don't like and what artist I like. So when Bob Dylan showed up, I played it twice and said, yeah, we're good. Let's move on.
Well, thank God it was at the lowest end of this section of the list. So moving on to what are going to be number 258 and 257 on the overall list. Georgia on My Mind by Ray Charles versus Nowhere With You by Joel Plaskett Emergency. Georgia on My Mind may be one of the most beautifully produced and beautifully composed songs of all time. Ray Charles took a Hoagie Carmichael song and just made fucking magic. The backup vocalists on this song, oh my gosh. They add so much texture and beauty to this that it is just a luscious, gorgeous piece. Ray Charles's like raspy vocals on this just create this incredible, like this incredible dynamic, and it is just some of the most beautiful, beautiful vocals I've ever heard on a song.
So I hate this matchup. I hate it. I hate it so much because I really like this song, but it's not beating Ray Charles at this point. So I'm just gonna tell you what I love about this song. So Joel Plaskett Emergency, or more in particular, Joel Plaskett is a big like folk pop artist in the Maritimes. He became big in 2000s, and then he released an EP. And had this song on it, and it took over the radio stations. And it's kind of become a classic, similar in vein to like the Mull River Shuffle that we talked about like a few episodes ago. But it's more of like this is more like the 2010s kind of staple of like maritime rock. And I just think the intro in this is so compelling because you have the bass coming in and like you hear like the chug and the picking. And then you have him coming in with this high kind of pitch, like, hey, good looking, why the frown? It's always looks better when it's upside down. I think those two lines there are just so catchy and it gets you in right away. But I think where Andrew is really going to appreciate it as well is when you get into I took the Dartmouth ferry into the town and you hear the floor tops going, and it just has that like gallop to it. And then you have the organ come in and they're just like blaring in. And then there's just so many cool parts. And like when it breaks down at the end, it's like when you get tired and want to go home, I'm still wired. I can go and alone same time next week at 10:15. We can go nowhere again. And then they cut out all the music, all the drums. Like if you show up then you know I will too. Can I go nowhere with you? And it has that very like Elvis Costello like bring in like da na 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 and then right back in. And I just like it's a very fun like campfire sing-alongy song. And it's not gonna beat Georgia on My Mind because it's a very pretty fucking song. Like the strings in it, how the chorus responds. Something I noticed this time on re-listen is the first time when they're like Georgia on My Mind, and then the second time there's like they come up a little bit, so it's almost like they've kind of had time to think about what's happened in the song so far.
I will say real fast that I really liked Nowhere With You a lot, except for that one line that you brought up. The hey good looking, why the frown line. I'm sorry. That line is just way too Leisure Suit Larry for me personally. But otherwise, it's a dope song. I really like it a lot. But I think that we are just gonna move on to Cody for this one.
Yeah.
It's nice when the white flag goes up before anybody dies on the field. That's always an important feel. Yeah. Not that I didn't like the song, but there's no shot that Georgia. It actually won when it said Joe, and that was it. Like,
yeah,
the whole song, he didn't get Georgia out.
Out of curiosity, in like the Canadiana that I've selected, where does that song in particular rank?
I'd say pretty high.
Okay.
I'd say pretty high. I enjoyed it for the most part. Again, when I go in, I'm like, this against this could win. This against that could win. That against no. There's a lot. And this episode right now, like if this is the last combined, I'm really curious because there's some heavy hitters on this list. Like for me, for music taste, there's some for my taste. So, and I'm interested to see where the highest like drop off from you guys is. Like we're at 40 now. Like by the end of it, like do you guys have stuff in the 10s that never made? I'm curious, so we'll see.
Okay.
This is going to be a good episode, folks. All right, let's move on to what's going to be 256 and 255 on the list. I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton versus It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken by the Tragically Hip. Brooklyn, you are starting us off with this one.
Oh, yeah, right. You'd very much first in the last one. So this is some more Canadiana, Tragically Hip. This is not like one of their more bigger singles. Like you could easily go to like Ahead by a Century or go to like Grace 2, which I think we've already talked about. But I just like the overall ambiance on the song. The guitar work on it is incredible. And then you get into like Gord Downey's like very haunting lyrics, kind of similar to Billy Corgan, but not as like high pitched. It's like when the color of the night and all the smoke for one life gives away to shaky movements, and just like when you get into like certain lines of the pre-chorus, it's like we swear that we will get with the times, and like how he kind of delivers that. I'm always a sucker for call and answers. And it's like when you get into that chorus, it's like you have Gord wailing, like find somewhere to go, and then you have the call or the answer of like go somewhere where needed. And I've always really kind of liked that. And then it has that kind of like slow down kind of chug at the end with the guitars, and I think that just separates it enough to kind of keep it fresh.
So I Will Always Love You. I go back and forth every once in a while which version I like more. Because with the Dolly Parton version, there is just such a level of loving sincerity behind Dolly Parton's performance on this one. It's once again, it's 3 chords in the truth. Builds a great country song. And it's just like lyrically, it's so poetic. It's just like it flows really beautifully. And yeah, it's just such a soft, warm, delicate listen that you can't help but feel just like the emotional weight of the lyrics. Yeah, it's simplistic beauty, in my opinion. It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken. I slowly started to really respect the Tragically Hip. I think I've necessarily hit the point where I love them yet. But I do understand why a lot of people do now. And this is a great song. It's probably my favorite one of theirs I've heard so far.
Okay.
But it is one that I haven't heard a lot of, so it hasn't necessarily cracked my list because of that.
Yeah.
But it's a very good song.
So I will say about I Will Always Love You. I really enjoyed it coming on this time around. I found the guitar very expressive. Like it's so easy in country to play the chords so clean, but he's like throwing in little flares there, like throwing in like the walk-ins, and I just love that, especially with Dolly and how expressive she can be as well. And I think that just kind of plays together. Yeah, it's pretty. We're getting into an interesting section where like, obviously through the course of recording this, I've realized kind of like, well, like this song could have probably come off and like this one here. And now it's like, all right, what are ones that I can kind of like have starting like in the bottom 400s and be like, all right, let's have them sit here and then see where these go in like 5 years from
now. Well, let's move on to Cody and see what he thinks.
It's an unfair matchup again, personally.
Yeah.
It's a Good Life. What number was that on your individual?
So if that was
I missed
40,
that. I can find that real fast.
No, it's fine. You can think about it. It was 41. Was the last one. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the 30s.
It was number 40.
Okay. So each one's going down by one. Okay. I don't think it's close. The 2 versions, personally. I get it. Like, one feels like a sincere, like, notion to the person she's talking to, and the other feels like an anthem, like a thing. Like, it's just the voices are not even comparable; they're not even close. So and it's just what you want from a song. Like the simplistically this version of that song, I like it a lot. I think it's a sweet song, but like the Queen did the version that I would always listen to over the other. But
Well, we'll see if it.
I will have to go with "I Will Always Love You" because the song is just. But as somebody that doesn't know the Tragically Hip, I really enjoy that song a lot. It's just wrong matchup. Wrong matchup.
Yeah, I love like this almost gothic-esque ambiance that it has. It's check
But
out
when Dolly does like the bittersweet, like that is like I don't pay attention to that version as much because I believe there's really only one version of that song. But
another hip song that I think Andrew will appreciate. Cody, you might as well. 50 Mission Cap. It has a really interesting story about like a hockey player that goes missing after like they score a Stanley Cup winning goal.
Oh, that seems very fascinating.
Send that one to me, actually.
Okay.
As you're doing that, we are going to move on to number 254 and 253. Those being Summer Highland Falls by Billy Joel versus Pink Moon by Nick Drake. As I fixed that because Mr. Producer Man is very drunk today.
Like this is what we're talking about in terms of matchups here. Like I have a song that was transferred over to me by Zach Ford, and I'm like coming in basically preaching the same thing that he is, and I gotta go up against fucking Billy Joel, fucking Cody Newberry here, and I don't want to lose this best. Fucking Jesus.
Let me tell you about one Billiam Joel. I think Turnstiles is my favorite album of his. I think that album is just banger after banger after banger of a song. With one exception. And this one is my personal favorite of all the songs on that album. The piano line in this, it just kind of flutters throughout. And it's just beautiful to listen to. These are some of my favorite lyrics that Billy Joel has ever written. They say that these are not the best of times, but they're the only times I've ever known. It's just such a fantastic opener. And the recurring theme of choosing between the reality and madness is either sadness or euphoria. Just what a line to keep coming back to throughout the song. It's just a great internal metaphorical deep piece that I think is one of the crown jewels of Billy Joel's career.
Yeah, I pretty well agree. Like I've grown on Andrew's song in particular. But I will tell you what I love about Pink Moon. I'll kind of give the elevator pitch. So the thing that I love about this song is that it just takes you into this era of, or this essence of just one guy playing a guitar. And it's a very like open sort of strum. Like you have like the open D. So it sounds very like full and whole. And just how he moves around on the guitar to create some different tones and whatnot. But then you have like the piano coming in after. It's very kind of like faint, and then his voice just gets like very low and whatnot. And then just kind of like how it's like Siren, and I saw it say Pink Moon is on its way. It's just kind of like hey, like there's kind of light to come. I've always described it as like this album in particular, this is the one to throw on whenever you're sad. And this is the first song on that album, so it kind of it sets you in that tone right away. I'm like, if you really want to get into the essence of it, I'm really a believer. Just like kind of close your eyes and just sit back and just imagine that you're in almost like a jazz, not a jazz, but like a dive bar almost. And there's one guy kind of playing guitar, and then you're kind of listening to him tell the story. With Summer Highland Falls, I've picked up a lot more on it. It's kind of relating to certain lines, and like the ones that really kind of stood out for me was, now I've seen that sad surrender in my lover's eyes, and I can only stand apart and sympathize. For we are always what our situations hand us. And I think it's just really cool. And Billy Joel in particular, how he's able to use the alto sax and the soprano sax as well. I think it's just a very happy medium of like that clarinet sort of like high reeded sound, and then like the sax that kind of has that buzz. The only song that is matched is in Scenes from Italian Restaurant. So I think that's just having it in that high of a caliber is understanding. You're muted. We did so well.
Every time. With Pink Moon, I think there's a real intimacy there that I think really heightens the quality of that song. Just like the almost whispery kind of vocals that Nick Drake has really amplifies that as well. You know who as you were talking about this, you know who I think was like super influenced by that album? Bon Iver. I think Bon Iver fucking loves that Nick Drake album, and probably listened to it like a lot when he was making For Emma forever ago. But Summer Highland Falls, it's just, as you said, it's that medium, and it's just, it captures sadness and euphoria in the exact same song.
It's crazy like how these songs are going up together. The other crazy thing about Pink Moon, this still gets played on the radio. Like this got played. I heard this on CBC radio like a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always comes up in like best songwriters albums of all time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's go to Cody, see what his thoughts are.
I don't know where to go with this one. I feel bad. I feel bad. There's a dead body on the side of the road, and I'm supposed to apply CPR, but I'm just driving.
I think Andrew has a turkey now. Like this is 3 in a row.
I think it's listen. I don't make the matchups, people. Like I just don't. Like
no. Well, I knew this going in. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna sell these songs that are gonna get destroyed by beloved artists.
One of my favorite things that happens is when somebody picks Billy Joel songs that are not like the typical Joel songs. Like I guarantee I could ask a lot of people about Summer Highland Falls, and I don't know a lot of people that are going to talk about it. And I saw it, I was like, huh, okay, I'm cool.
I think this may be my highest rated Joel.
Okay.
I think this or something else.
I think there are two mainstream ones that deserve as much love as they get, personally. But we'll see if they're on anybody's list. If not, I have an ace in my back pocket. But no, I again, I'm like, when you go through his discography and you just see stars next to stuff because that's the ones that everybody like listens to. But those other ones that have no stars, check them out because they are some of his best work. So I have to go with that one. But I did like Pink Moon for the most part.
There we go. Just once again, wrong song.
I can't do anything against. Once that piano starts, it's like I elevate. It's weird. I arrive, But
man, that's a phrase I haven't used in a while.
Don't know this one, but I think
before your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was back on the. Oh man, what is it? The after show? Yeah.
After show.
I was on one of those episodes, and it was, I think, the last one. So
could have been.
Let's move on to number 252 and 251. We are hitting the halfway mark of our combined list.
What's the score right now? Pretty bad. You're 7. You're up 7.
Have I got one? I've got one. I got the first one. Yeah.
You got one.
So up 6 with how many to go?
Let's see. We had 4. There were 15, so there's 11 to go.
11. Yeah.
11 matchups.
It's
this is one of those.
Don't call it a comeback.
Well, we'll find out because number 252 and 251 are Vacation by the Go-Go's versus Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles. Brooklyn, you're starting us off with this one.
So I think this is the Beatles song that really, like, similar to Get Back, where it's all 5 of them at kind of their peak. George Martin really kind of gets the feel for the album that they're going for at the time. Ringo's drum work in this is incredible as he builds into the chorus. And then you have like Paul's vocals in this are like oddly eerie, considering he was kind of like the straightforward guy. Like this, it seems like Paul is almost writing John, or he's almost singing John's lyrics, and I might be wrong on that. It might have been Paul's written song, but I just think that it has like the kind of ambiance and feel similar to how the Pink Moon. Like you have like George is kind of messing around on the guitar here, and then I think the cool thing at the end where it's like, hey, need to go check this out and see what else they put in there, is that like Doppler effect of like kind of the people coming through like the almost like the parade or whatever. Like you hear the horns coming through right to left, and then you hear like these like almost like it's almost like a flute or something, or some sort of woodwinds coming by. I think almost something you'd hear in a Dr. Seuss book. But yeah, I think it's one that similar to like Flagpole Sitta, not as much, where it's like, hey, this era of Beatles is still awesome, and it can still be appreciated.
Paul sang this one? I thought for sure John sang this one.
It sounds. I'm probably wrong, but it sounds like Paul.
Either way, I know John wrote it. But Vacation by the Go-Go's. The Go-Go's are a band that like their singles were really good. They just had like a great bounce and rhythm to them, and a Vacation is the one that I think really packs the biggest wallop, because it's just once you hit that chorus, it is just an explosion of like joy. Like that melody is so instantly memorable, and there's just, as I said, there's just so much joy that's just bursting through the speakers of having like just gotten out of a relationship, and like you keep thinking about it, and like you go on vacation, like you just like decide you're going on vacation, baby, get your mind off of that old boyfriend of yours, probably a douchebag anyway. And it's just such an elated like performance from them. The instrumentation is just tight, immaculate, extremely well produced. It is just it's one of those songs where like if you're in a bad mood, that's one of the ones that I put on. With Strawberry Fields Forever, having listened to it a couple times in the lead up for this episode, I think I made a mistake of not putting it on my list at all. It would still only be like maybe in the 400s, but it would have made my list. I think that it's just got this interesting psychedelia sound that I don't think a lot of other like psychedelic artists kind of make. Yes, it's a little twisted and contorted, but there's just like an underlying happiness in it. It's just a really beautiful piece. So it probably should have made my list.
So one, you're right. John Lennon does sing the song. Number two, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I've had Vacation stuck in my head for about a month. It's just been like that bass line is great. I just kind of come to the realization, like I'm similar to you, this should have been on my list because that chorus is just great, and like you're right, like you have a smile on your face whenever you're screaming it out. And I just think how Belinda Carlisle plays the melody like with that bass line, and it's like two people like almost like on rollerblades, like going back and forth, and just kind of watching them dance around it. I think is great. Like I've added Our Lips Are Sealed like into my mix or whatever, and like just seeing that chord progression of like, oh, these guys are doing really, really cool things. And I always appreciate that effort.
So it seems like we have two songs that we both regret not putting on our list. Let's see if Cody thinks that either one of them even deserve to be here.
Okay, so another one for this week. When I saw Vacation, I was like, "What the freak? What is this?" Like, and then Vacation on my own. And all I could think of is I knew who picked it. I knew it was Barr, and all I could picture him behind a station wagon, just driving his family. And
It's
just
a
I have
it's
a
a
Honda
Subaru.
Accord.
Thank you very.
It's a
Oh, it's
Honda
on-
Accord.
Oh right, yeah.
No.
No, it
No. I don't care what he drives currently. I'm saying with a family and everything, and he's Clark Griswold style driving down the road. Listen to Vacation.
some tunes.
You want to go to Wally World? I think we should go. I think you're all fucking nuts. Surprisingly, I'm going to go with Strawberry Fields. Even if unless Brooklyn wants me to, because he says he should have put this on his list. Do you want me to vote for Vacation?
No, I think Strawberry Fields is still better.
Okay, so yes, I'm going to go with Strawberry Fields. And again, this comes from somebody that's never tripped acid before, but I feel like if you trip acid and then listen to this song, might be the greatest experience of your life.
I've recently discovered
Because it sounds like they're
that's-
on acid.
I've recently discovered somebody that I've known for a while has done acid. And it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, no.
But did they listen to this song on it?
No.
Hmm.
This
Missed
person
opportunity.
has trouble remembering what day it is sometimes, or like
Well,
what's
maybe they
going
should've
on in
done-
that moment.
Well, maybe they should have done it earlier. I'm just missed opportunity. It's all right. Let's move on.
All right, we've hit the halfway point on their list now. And I said to Cody earlier, there were two matchups that I think were bangers. And so number 250 and 249, Never Too Much by Luther Vandross versus Proud Mary by Ike and Tina Turner. Never Too Much by Luther Vandross has some of the most joyful love I've ever heard laid down on a track. Like this is just elation. That one verse of where he like goes to work and the boss, like he hates his boss, and then he comes home and like the love of his life is there, and it's just like the most beautiful thing in the world to him. So romantic, like genuinely some of like the best lyrics in a love song ever created. God, the instrumentation on this is so fucking good. Just like when that one slide of the guitar towards the beginning, and then suddenly like the chords, like the piano and the horns come in, and it's just that guitar lick. Oh, just mwah, it is money. And Luther Vandross, his voice is just so goddamn like beautiful and like soulful and rich. There's just so much texture to it. This is just one of the most beautiful, charming, and just like utterly moving love songs ever made.
Yeah. So famously on the show, I think we had talked about like Proud Mary's coming up on the list, but we put on this version, but it was a CCR version on the other one, and I was fucking pissed off because I was like, absolutely, this is the one that you put on here.
My man.
It's Tina fucking Turner. How they enter the song, like they're just like slow at like this slow walk, and just like how she kind of like emphasizes these words like nice and easy. Well, they're gonna do it nice and rough. I'm gonna take the beginning of the song and do it easy, but then we're gonna do the finish rough. And this is the way we do Proud Mary. And then it's like listen to the story, and like almost like James Brown in a sense. But that guitar line at the beginning is so clean. I'm also in the belief that like you can pretty well take out Ike Turner here and just put in a Barry sax, and I think it just does the same thing. But man, once they get in, when she does that final roll in on the river, and then he goes and rolling on goes all the way down, and it stops for a second, and then it just goes right in, and you're just like you want to shake pretty well, and it just like it livens up a room. And it's so cool. Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. I'll admit, Luther Vandross is probably my biggest blind spot right now. He's kind of where Bill Withers was like a year ago, where it's like he's the person that I really need to check out. I agree with you. This song fucking slaps. Like I would love to hear this at like 10 o'clock at like almost almost like a 50s diner bar, but has like that checkerboard kind of style.
Yeah.
And like you'd be dancing along here, like that. That place that you used to, the place that you go to all the time in Atlantic City, and it's like I'd love to go that place.
Tropicana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still think I may prefer the CCR version of Proud Mary, but the gap is a lot.
Man.
The gap is a lot tighter than it used to be completely honest with you, because this grew on me a lot. Just the horns in this song are absolutely nuts. So like they are going at 110 miles an hour, and it's fantastic. Tina fucking Turner, God bless her soul. She delivers this. Like her voice on this, it is like it's punching you in the face, but it's just dripping with personality. This song, it deserves a spot on the list. I'm kind of an idiot for not having it on there, at least anywhere. But with Never Too Much, it just like it is so solid, just like throughout the entire thing. It is so danceable. It is so charming that this is the one that I would pick personally between the two. But that's just me. So.
Okay. Yeah, this is one. This is kind of like Zhang Wei Li versus Ioana and Jacek. It's two incredible songs going at it, and I think we're just both happy whoever wins.
I don't know who you're talking about.
One of the greatest UFC fights ever. Go watch it.
Cool. Cody agrees with you apparently. Let's go to the man himself.
Listen. So there's a song. If I tip it, I'm sorry. I know. Luther Vandross has a song called "Dance with My Father" again.
That just missed my list. It just missed my list.
One of the most heartbreaking songs, and his voice is freaking velvet. It is so smooth,
so good.
But I don't say this often. CCR, I think, if I had, like I've said this on the show, pinpoint top 3 band for me ever, there is no question who does this version better, and it's Tina Turner. Tina Turner takes what Proud Mary was and literally kicks the shit out of it. Like, where she wins by just introducing the song, and then it goes so like smooth, and then as soon as rolling down the and then if you've ever, not alone, if this is just song, fine. If you've ever seen this woman perform this song and how her knees held up for all those years,
yeah,
she flipping goes. And this song like gets kicked into, I don't know many songs that start so like smooth and just punch it to 100 at one point and just go. This song is, I'm with you. I could like go somewhere else. He doesn't need to be, like, you could literally do it with any human being possible. Tina Turner's the star of the show, and Proud Mary, like 31 on your list. What is it going to end up in the 250 ranges here?
Yeah, it's 250.
Personally, just disrespectful. I think the song is like up, like one of the great. I just have never seen anybody when Proud Mary comes on from Tina Turner that has an angry look on their face. Like, yeah. I don't know you can be mad during this song. I just don't think it's possible. So that's why, like, this song plays. And even if like a group of like fucking like lawyers are in a room and they're just pissed off for like 7 years, and you put this song on there, someone might be doing the Tina Turner dance by the end of the night. I'm just saying. Could happen.
Well, I mean, they're going to the bathroom first, and then they're getting to that second half, and they're like,
whoa. So yeah, Proud Mary, no question. But I'm so happy you brought attention to "Never Too Much" by Luther Vandross. The dude is underrated as hell.
Oh yeah, unfair.
Oh, his voice. If his voice came out in the '60s, there are chances that no one like ever stops talking about Luther Vandross. But he came up in this time, and it's just like, just underseen, underappreciated, like more like a gospel-y kind of voice. I think he got passed off as, but he is silky smooth voice.
Absolutely.
Dear Diary, today 3 white guys got on a call to say that Luther Vandross is underrated.
He is.
He is.
Think about if you polled the general people and said, "Give me top 50 vocalists of all times." I bet Luther doesn't even cross anybody's mind.
Yeah, that's wrong though.
Ooh, that's a list. Ooh.
To go back a little bit to what Cody was saying earlier, listen to Dance with My Father. So fucking good. All right, now, Cody, you talked about a big dip before.
Huh?
So that was 38 and 31 on our lists.
Okay.
Moving on to number 248 and 247. My number 16, Yesterday by the Beatles versus Where Have All the Good People Gone by Sam Roberts Band.
Gosh.
So Brooklyn's starting us off this time.
So this is the first time on this show that we're talking about Sam Roberts Band. This on my overall list. This is, I think, the second time that they appear. But this is a band that has built a reputation of being just incredible live. And this is kind of a song that really encapsulates it. Similar to Tragically Hip, it's like not one of their bigger singles. Like they had like Brother Down, like Come On Eileen, and like Bridge to Nowhere. But this one has just kind of stood the test of time. And it's like you get to the opening lyrics of like, oh, the Milky Way's gone a little sour, the leaves dried in the flower. But then you get into the pre-chorus, and I think just has like an interesting kind of message to it. Like Sam Roberts Band have always been kind of a little political. Like the other song I have, Canadian Dream, has kind of like they literally spell out like they spell out socialism in the song. But then you get to like it's like, want to leave, but I gotta say, and I'm wondering more every day. Montreal to Hong Kong, where have all the good people gone? Traffic jam, but I'm on the shoulder. Took 10 cops to pull me over. Bangkok to Babylon. And like you get that Bangkok to Babylon and how he just kind of sends it off at the end. The guitar lick in this is great. And I just think he has this very like kind of soft delivery that is able to kind of ramp up, especially when you get to the end of like, it's like, come on, people, come on. I think it's great.
Yesterday by the Beatles, specifically Paul McCartney, it's one of those songs that is beautifully sad. There is such a level of ennui in this song, and it's heavy. And it's also incredibly intimate. It's mostly just the guitar and the vocals, mostly. And I think that intimacy and Paul's delivery of the song really highlights the sadness, heartbreak, and loneliness that the lyrics carry. And I'm so happy that they kept it as short as it is, because I feel like if you went on with the song too long, it would have lost that vulnerability and that emotion. So yeah, I think this is just a beautifully sad piece that is just absolutely incredible. With Where Have All the Good People Gone by Sam Roberts Band, I like this song a lot. I think what I've realized is that this to me sounds like a song that is meant to, I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase it. Meant to be sung along together. And sometimes I think that works. And I think it just doesn't for this one for me. I think I just like prefer the intimacy that Yesterday has compared to this.
Okay, so I've agreed with you mostly on their songs, but this is where I kind of turn, because this song, kind of similar to Easy on Me by Adele, it's just unfinished. I feel like I understand the intimate moments that you talk about, but it's just a Paul song with like some strings. And like, if I think about like other intimate songs that the Beatles do that pull this off and are also much more grander, I go to like She's Leaving from like Sgt. Pepper's. I think that pulls off a better vibe of this. I understand it also being short. Like Beatles were kind of the kings of doing these songs under 3 minutes. I think this one is just too simple, and I don't think the execution is there quite enough. I think it's also I think it's a product of its time. If this song comes out in the last like 30 years, I don't think it does as well. I think that's where my song where my song is better. It just makes more usage of the band in general.
I highly disagree, considering that Yesterday is one of the most covered songs of all time. So obviously it does still resonate today. And you know who also covered this song? Ray fucking Charles. So to get Ray Charles's approval speaks highly. So
the last thing that I'll say, and the thing about covered songs, and Hallelujah fits this perfectly. They are a blank canvas where you can add different interpretations to it. This is very much just like a plain chicken breast that you can just add anything you want to it afterwards.
How fucking dare you? No,
it's nutritional. Like you get your protein. I'm not saying that it's bad for. I'm just saying that it's like it needs some salt and pepper. You know, maybe a little sriracha, maybe some.
Oh my god,
maybe you stuff some garlic cloves in the middle. You know.
Cody, let's just go to you before I take Brooklyn.
Are you just shoving random garlic cloves in a pale thing of chicken? That sounds fucking
No,
terrible.
I'd roast the garlic first, then put it on a chicken breast, and then roast it.
My song is Dark Meat.
Listen, to consider Yesterday as a plain chicken breast, that, I mean, you had Strawberry Fields. Like, I think Yesterday is a better song than Strawberry Fields.
I had to try hard for this one. I was like,
that's
this
fair.
is a song that I could.
I wasn't a very big fan. As much as I would love to make like a contest close and like go down to the wire, I can't lie to who I am. So at the end of the day, I didn't love the song as much as I wish I would have. Yesterday, I really enjoyed, so I had to go with Yesterday.
Okay. So there's that. Boop.
You're about to learn about America in a musical format called 1776. Get ready, buddy.
All right. Moving on to what are going to be 246 and 245. Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles versus Mercedes-Benz by Janis Joplin.
Motherfucker.
Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson is the perfect dichotomy song. It sounds jaunty, like positive energy, kind of like almost danceable. Then you listen to the lyrics of this song and woo, he's in so much pain that it hurts. Smokey Robinson's vocals on this, just like the way he carries the melody, it's so fucking perfect. That tenor that he has is just money. And I love the Miracles on this song, actually. Like, their support in this, it just really creates this incredible sound. But it is the wind instrument in this that do 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 do. I want to say it's like a flute, maybe, or at least meant to sound like a flute. Maybe even an oboe or something like that. But either way, it's a piccolo, I think.
Yeah.
That adds just the perfect sound to this song. That little ostinato that carries out throughout, it's incredibly placed. It's just like a great balance of like fantastic music, fantastic lyrics, fantastic production.
So this is one of the rare instances where an a cappella song just fills a room, and Janis Joplin is one of the few vocalists that can really kind of do that. It's very much a vein of what they were kind of going through at the time, where it's just like kind of like this like hippie-esque sort of sort of motive, I guess. Like my friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends, work hard. And it's just amazing how much she can carry. And like tempo stays the same. Like there is that one drum. So Andrew, this should be up your alley. It has a floor tom that goes with the beat. But I think similar to yesterday, it's just short and sweet. And I could listen to this song every day, and it doesn't really lose age, or it doesn't really lose wear, I guess. But yeah, sorry, I got to get on to Tears of a Clown. I almost forgot about it. I tried, Andrew. I tried in this one, but that intro still just like it's not. It takes me out of it, so that when you get into like the whole sad bits, I'm like, I'm gonna get taken out of it by this clown sound. And then maybe
that's
just
the point.
Maybe I'm just maybe it's too dumb. Like it's kind of going over my head, but yeah, I need to be in the shallow end for these kind of songs.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of like circus sound is exactly what the song is supposed to be built on. It's dichotomy, goddammit. Okay, Mercedes-Benz. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It's almost the same thing throughout, like the same vocal line and melody throughout, to the point where it kind of gets tedious for being as short as it is. And like Janis Joplin, her vocals are good on this, but man, there's just a lot better Janis Joplin songs to pick, to be completely honest with you. And I'm someone who has openly said I'm not the biggest Janis Joplin fan. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah, I think this just speaks volumes, because you have the other ones like take another little piece of my heart, or like her rendition of Me and Bobby McGee. But it's like, hey, you want her at her most powerful, even when she's like wailing like that, get to this song.
Cody, what are your thoughts?
So somebody did not know that they were at like a massive disadvantage before even this matchup happened. And it was unfortunately Bar. My grandma would sing Mercedes-Benz around the house all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I can't hear that song without thinking of my grandmother. So sorry. When like I thought she was crazy all the time. Like I didn't know this was an actual song. She was, because when you listen to it, there's not a lot to the song. It's just her speaking to it, basically. But when you think about it, like when she just sung it, I was like, she'd be doing dishes and she'd just be singing the lines to Mercedes-Benz. So when I saw Mercedes-Benz, I was like, what the hell? And I clicked on it and like, you know that scene in Ratatouille?
Yeah,
when he takes the bite of Ratatouille? And go, yeah, that happened, like sitting there. It's Tears of a Clown is fantastic. You were in a hole from the get-go.
This is wild to me. This is the one matchup where I'm like, there's no way.
I know. Hey, if you ever hear grandma look you in the eyes and say, I need a colored TV, like, what are you talking about, girl? What? Hey, cool. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I'm not gonna dwell.
Tears of a Clown is kind of similar to what Bar is right now.
Feeling right now. Yeah.
What's the score?
It's tied.
No, it's not.
What?
It can't be tied.
No. You were up by 6 at one point.
I missed something then.
Yeah, you did.
Let's, Mr. Producer Man, we're gonna take a break real quick. I'm just gonna double check something. So
I'm gonna go grab a drink, then I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Tequila.
Which was number 500 on Brooklyn's list, funny enough. Hold on, that's a perfect 500 song. To be completely honest with you, that's the perfect song to
like when you do a top 100 and you do Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Let's see. So that one he won. He won that one. So it was tied again there. So I got yesterday. Yeah, we're tied. It's 4-4.
There can't be.
It's 4-4.
It's 4-4 this episode. I mean overall.
Oh, overall, yeah, no, it's no, it's not. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I'm
so
still
you're
ahead.
up 4. You're up 4.
Yeah, I'm up 4.
So yeah, Tequila is a top 500 song. Absolutely. I guess as the bookend 500, because you can watch grown men, women, and children all just sing out Tequila and have it mean nothing.
Tequila.
Or have one guy do it at karaoke and run the joke into the ground.
Yeah.
So how many more do we have to go?
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go.
So Brooklyn can only lose 3 more.
That is correct. This,
I'm not gonna win. I don't think I have a chance.
If you have some of these choices coming up, you have a good shot. But if you're on the flip side of the coin, it's going to be a crash and burn for you.
Oh, Cody, get ready. This is going to be painful, this one, I think. So number 244 and 243, my number 12 song, Brooklyn's number 27 song, Think by Aretha Franklin versus Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John.
No, I refuse.
That's too damn bad. Keep picking.
Oh, my back hurts, Grandpa.
I don't care.
I don't want to keep digging.
So, Think by Aretha Franklin. Oh man, this is just fucking perfect. The energy in this song, the bounce in this song, Aretha Franklin just being a fucking like powerhouse, just demanding all your attention. Her presence on this song is just incredible. Her dynamic with her backup vocalists on this, just like the interplay between them, it's so perfect. It's some of the greatest interplay between the lead vocalist and the backups. Incredible. There's just so much happening in this song, and it is just an incredible ride.
So when you think about like great songs that are kind of like 1-2, you think about like Space Odyssey with Dave Bowie, and then like Life on Mars. But then you go to Elton John and you have like Rocket Man, and it's like, oh, what's the best song to play right after that? It's this one. It's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Has kind of the same kind of answer to it. You have this kind of like sliding bass line in it, and then I just think it's a very great opening line. When are you going to come down? When are you going to land? And I just think the overall message of the song that like life is destined beyond what you think it is, like what that path that certain people set for you, whether it's like parents or other people, or just like maybe friends through school or whatever. And it's like, hey, like this is what you should be doing. And it's like you can be on that road for so long, and it's like you finally get there, and it's like this isn't that it's all meant to be. So like I finally decided that my future lies like beyond the Yellow Brick Road, and that's such a captivating moment. And I think that kind of like processes along that thought sometimes, like when you're in that kind of state. I'm a firm believer that there is a song for every kind of like angle of feeling, and this is the one where it's like similar to like the Road Less Traveled by like Robert Frost. It's kind of in that vein. I don't like this matchup. Again, this is really fucking close because Think is such a damn good song. Like this really influenced like George Michael in particular with like Freedom 90 and just like her kind of wailing on it. Yeah, man, this should be on my list. I can't wait to kind of add it on to the next one. But yeah, thank you for showing me this song, Andrew.
I made a mistake by not putting Goodbye Yellow Brick Road on. I think I just had like a lot of Elton John songs on my list already. And while this is probably in my top 10, it's not in my top 5. So I think I just kind of like held myself back because of that. But yeah, no, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road it's a fantastic song. I think Bernie Taupin said that it's his favorite song that he ever wrote, and I completely understand why. But with Think, it's just that power and that presence, and it's just so incredible.
Think is used in a bunch of movies too, isn't it? Like I'm trying to remember the biggest one.
I think that's the one they use in Blues Brothers, the first one. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one they use in the first Blues Brothers.
Yep. She's in the restaurant, and she.
Mhm.
And then they go to Ray Charles, and he shoots a gun.
Let's go to Cody.
No, you guys. This is a crime for both of you because both of these songs should have made the combined list. Like how you're all both having this separated, and both didn't make your garbage overall.
Mhm.
I think is Aretha Franklin's best song. And then I don't like. I
agree.
understand the other one gets so much play, but Think is like such an empowering song for women in general. Like, think before what you're trying to do to me. Like, such a strong woman. Like, you better think because like it's coming back your way really hard if you go the opposite. I love like I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no doctor with a degree. It don't take much IQ to see what you're doing to me. I just think like she's just down, and it like plays so well in Blues Brothers too because she's just letting him have it. Love it. And then you go to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which is one of the most beautiful songs ever constructed.
I think this is the highest. No, this is the second highest Elton John song I think that I have.
And this is my highest Aretha Franklin song.
I truly like this is the closest matchup ever. And I looked at that list 70 times and I said, there is no shot in hell that Think and Goodbye will be next to each other. So I'm safe and it plays. Because when I saw Think, I was like, fuck, put whatever else, it doesn't matter. And then I heard Goodbye come out of your mouth. By the thinnest of margins, I have to go with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I just have to.
Stay alive.
He is such like. I know it's weird, but I don't think we appreciate Elton John enough. That's just my take on it. I don't think we do. I just don't think we do. Because everybody like displays his vocals and all that stuff. The dude's crazy too. I love every bit about the man. Where he yells at people. Wow, like he's me as if I was a musical. Yeah, cool.
I think he
less flamboyance in sequence. I couldn't do all that, but listen, like anger wise, me and you in lockstep.
I think he hit the point where his persona overtook some of his songs.
I mean, the man sang your song in a duck outfit in New York City. Like the dude's a quack. And I love every bit of it. No pun intended, but pun intended.
Don't lie. That pun was totally intended.
Oh, totally intended. I know who's my panel. I know who we're barring.
I love me a good dad joke. All right. So moving on to number 242 and 241, cracking into my top 10.
I'm about to hurt some feelings.
Rome by the B-52s versus Devil in a Midnight Mass by Billy Talent.
Just to let you know that these two are higher than the last two. I hate both of you very much. Just saying.
Look, my top 25 was like real tough to like sort. And I think it mostly depended on my mood that day. Rome by the B-52s is one of the most perfect pop songs ever recorded. That guitar line is so shimmery and just like spacious. It is so good. The shimmery.
Okay. I'm gonna put it there.
The two women on this song, their voices just blend so perfectly. There is so much power and joy behind both of their vocals, and it is just the tightest production, and it just it is such a perfect road trip song. Like if you play this song in the car as you're driving like at least an hour long drive, and this song comes up in like the middle of it, it's the most perfect timing in the world. It's one of those songs that's hard for me to really fully describe why I love it as much as I do, but I just think that is a perfect pop song.
So on a polar opposite, we're going to this song. This
Would
is
you say
Billy
the guitar
Talent.
in Devil in Midnight Mass is shimmering?
Yeah. Billy Talent is like hard punk or like hardcore punk, I guess you would say. Canada. They have 4 really really good albums. This is off of their second one. I believe. Yeah. And there isn't a song that I know of that talks about this subject matter quite well. This is if you ever watch Spotlight, you can probably guess what this song is about. And I just think it hits those moments to a T. One of my favorite lines in this is killed the boy inside the man, the holy water in his hands can never wash away his sins. And then you get to like the pre-chorus, like hold your breath and count to 4. Pinky swears it don't work no more. But the one that like really gets you is put my trust in God that day, not the man that got his way. Like, holy shit. Like, just so how much that unravels, where it's like you're trying to like cope and heal from this, but like the thing that you're kind of brought up on, like that's where you're supposed to go. But it's like, no, that's hurting me right now. Like, what do I do? So it has all that, but then you get into the end of it, and it just does a really good job of getting this build. And it's like literally whispering, like whisper, whisper, don't make a sound. Your bed is made, it's in the ground. And just the roar that they get into after it. It's very like gothic. Like I'm pretty sure the music video is also in a church as well. That makes sense. I'm going to keep it short, I guess, with kind of the debate. I like Rome. It's fine. It's kind of like another, like, this is an 80s at 8 Saturday morning kind of drive into town kind of song. It's good, but I haven't found the thing of like, oh, this is incredible.
Yeah, so I don't even really know how to debate Devil in a Midnight Mass because of the subject matter. So I think the only thing that I would say is that I don't love the nursery rhyme-esque kind of sound to the pre-chorus, but that's really like my biggest complaint, and it's like a minor nitpicky one. Rome is just one of those songs that hits me so hard because like it kind of like it opens the world up to the point where it's like you're in space. They literally have the line shooting through every degree, like the degrees of space. It's just like a fantastic piece. Katie Pearson and I want to say, what's her name? Julie Cruz. Perfect name for this song. Sound utterly fantastic on this. Once again, though, it's hard to argue against a song. That tackles the subject matter Devil in a Midnight Mass does, and it does a very good job of it.
Yeah. When I made this list and I was like, all right, this is final, and I got to where that was, it's like, all right, this is the song that I'm going to push the hardest of like, people need to check this out, or this song needs to be talked about more.
Yeah. So let's go to Cody.
So I think there's no shock at somebody on this panel that probably knows that they didn't win this round just based on like overall, like, I think the song is cool. The subject matter makes me like not want to visit the song very often, but I like what they attempted. I get it. And also it's not paired with my kind of style of music. which also hurt
that was going to be a tough sell.
Oh shit!
But I also don't know how you do that song lyrics on any other kind of like sound. Like I don't think you can slow it. I don't think you can switch genre. I think it has to play where it is. It's just I have to go with Rome for this one.
I'm not gonna lie.
But I
already gave
do
Brooklyn
say
a point.
check it out. I do for the lyrics, like where they're able to connect it. It's kind of crazy. Like because I was listening to it on a drive and I went, oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah, sharp rocks at the bottom.
oh.
Yeah, but good.
I'm not gonna lie. I had like written down a point for Brooklyn already, so that took
Do you
me by.
know me?
I think that puts me out of
No. You can miss. You can lose 3.
There are 5 more songs. There are 5 more matchups. So
So you've lost 1. So now you need to. It's getting the lights are getting dim.
lights are getting darker. Moving on.
Sun's getting real low here.
About to go see the rabbits. Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ. All right, number 240 and 239. Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues versus Border Song by Aretha Franklin.
Damn.
Brooklyn starts us off with this one.
All right. Well, let's get how we figured out this song out of the way first. Cody and I used to be on a show on a channel called Take 3. And there's a guy that used to produce that show who is also a big Elton John fan and was like, hey, while we're doing this Elton John show, you should also check out this cover. And I heard this cover and my mind was blown immediately. I was like, this is the best cover. People talk about like Johnny Cash and like how that like Hurt is his song. This is Aretha's song. And try to convince me otherwise. Because like Elton does a really good job of it, but Aretha takes it and puts her sound into it, and it just makes so much sense. And it, like the kind of the breakdown part of like where like I'm going down and like she's kind of playing along with the backing vocals, and then like it slows down for a second, goes back into that main riff, and then it has like the big key change. And I think that just lifts the song so great. It gives it a heavier gospel sound. Like I really believe that like this song was made for Aretha, and I don't think anybody else is gonna top this version.
So Nights in White Satin is one of the most incredibly produced pieces I've ever heard in my life, and the instrumentation on it it's spacious, but there's a little bit of ominous like kind of quality there, and then there's like the ethereal flute that comes in it, and just the power behind the vocals, going into the "and I love you, yes I love you," and just wailing that line at one point. It's just an incredible balance of power, but also like restraint and sensitivity and like etherealness, and it's just like one of the most incredible sounding pieces I've ever heard like put to wax. And like melodically the verses are just so good. It just like it draws your ear into and it forces you to listen to like the lyrics, but also just appreciating the beauty of the instrumentation. It's just an incredible piece. With Border Song, so this is just me personally, because I'm not going to say anything bad about the song. It's just one of my least. It's no, it's not one of my least favorite Aretha Franklin songs, but it's one that I don't like as much as a lot of her other songs. I think it's just a little bit too bombastic for me, but that's just me as like a nitpicky, like pretentious asshole.
I'd like for you to elaborate on that, considering that we just talked about Think, and like Think is much more bombastic, so that's obviously a style that you also kind of draw to.
Think is also a tight song that's under 3 minutes, and then
this isn't tight.
I think that
like when she gets to the line, like, "Holy Moses, can we live in peace? Can we find a better way to make all hatred leave?" Like, there's a man standing over there, and it's
I
like
I
the
think what it is,
spaciousness of us.
I think it's just, and once again, I'm a nitpicky asshole. But I think that it just kind of like ramps it up a little bit too much, where I think lyrically it calls for a little bit more restraint. That's once again, that's me. That's just
Okay,
me.
I think you're talking out of your ass right now. I appreciate it, but
Like
let's.
the part where like she does so many runs where I'm kind of like, okay, I get it. That's
okay. So here's my thing with Knights in White Satin. I love the etherealness, like you mentioned, like the backing vocals and that, and like kind of the guttural screams. And it's like this is, I think, oh yeah, this is the song that helped me identify what an Andrew song is. If a song is about a lover or it just has like a lover in it, that's another like piece of the puzzle. But when I hear this song and you're talking about all the elements of it, I was like, you know what song that's already on our list that's kind of like perfect for this spot? Wichita Lineman. It hits all those same ones, but it's a little more dialed down, and I think it's a little more fine tuned. I'd have those ones swapped. I like it, but I think this style is just done a tad better.
okay. Let's go to Cody before I dig my own hole even deeper. And I'm not saying Border Song's a bad song. I think it's a good song. Just
It's also BORDER song, parentheses Holy Moses.
okay.
Drunk ass.
Let's respect to Bernie Taupin's writing.
So when I've heard Aretha Franklin's version of the song before, when I first heard it, I thought, this is not going to be. I just never saw the world of an Elton John song. It's Elton John that originally does it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Off his debut.
Brooklyn often does two. He does the same face, but it means two different things. Like one, confused and wants to correct me, or just blank stare, but he just does. So I was making sure I was on the same page. Okay. So I just never thought in the world Elton John and Aretha Franklin makes sense. I think they're very different in worlds. This is her song. It's her song 100%. It does not belong to Elton anymore. And I think Elton would say the exact same thing. Like, her version of this song is insane. I don't understand the bombastic thing. But I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm just, I don't get it.
That's me.
He's playing to win the game.
Especially with Think. I just think like if anybody said like Aretha's got attitudes or bombastic or over the top, it's in Think. But for me, Nights in White, this is the song. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then as soon Nights in White Satin, I was like, I know the song. Like, I've heard this before. But by the title, I didn't know. Border Song.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I already had it set up. Like, I saw that and I was like, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. Unless I loved Elton John's version way more, but it's still song versus song.
Right.
They're both
all right. So let's move on. Brooklyn still has a chance. Let's move on.
I really don't.
Let's move on to number 238 and 237. Stand By Me by Benny King versus Crazy in Love by Beyonce featuring Jay-Z.
Pour one out.
Do 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 do. That's all I can do. That bass line is arguably the greatest bass line of all time. Like, the way that thing just carries the song, it's fantastic. It's like a cradle almost. And then Benny King comes in and just kills it. Like, this is such a deeply personal song. You can like tell just by the way that Benny King sings it. And it's also just like the perfect song to sing to somebody that's in like a rocky period. A perfect song. Okay. yeah, it's Benny King's just soulful vocals on top of that amazing bass line, and just like the little bits of percussion that just like get sprinkled in to create almost like this starry kind of like mood and atmosphere. It is just an incredible piece.
So, I believe when this was on the finale of like the actual Rolling Stones list, this was in the top 25.
I think this was around the same area, at least.
Yeah. No, this song, it's crazy that this was the first single that Beyonce put out after she left Destiny's Child. And this is still the best one. That beat is just incredible. Really, the harmony that she has with Jay-Z in this is great, and how he kind of plays with the beat in his verse. And then like you get to that bridge, like got me looking so crazy, my baby, I'm not myself. Hey, maybe I'm foolish, I don't do this. But like just think about how much that like that dance and like the no, how much that took over. Like if that was on, like that would be a TikTok challenge now if this song came out. It's I mean, say what you will about TikTok, I fucking hate it, but it's like that'd absolutely be a thing. And I just think it, like she came out with such a force, and I think there was an opportunity here to kind of be like, well, let's showcase some emotion, and like maybe we can kind of get some information of like how this kind of how her leaving Destiny's Child happened. It's like, no, like I'm gonna come out to the scene in full force, and I'm here to stay. Whereas with Stand By Me, I'll keep it short and sweet. I know I'm losing because I know Cody's taste. This is just another blank canvas song. It gets covered a lot. It's been talked about. It's been played. There was a better bass line in Vacation. It's too simple. If this is pre-2000, this is absolutely on the list, but no, 2023, we can stop talking about this one.
You know, just let's go to Cody.
I'm losing, so like I don't have anything.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
Listen,
I thought I was saying blasphemous shit when talking about Border Song.
If you're gonna disrespect me, like look me in the eyes or you slap me, okay? Okay, listen. Stand By Me is one of the greatest songs ever written, composed, everything. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. Beyonce is highly overrated to like an degree. The Beehive can come for me. My name is Caleb Coho. Come visit me.
Send all your hate to Caleb Coho
at gmail.com.
It's because of Bowman. It's always been because of Bowman.
But here's the thing. Like, yeah, Crazy in Love, the early stuff of Beyonce, awesome. Like, great. Somehow along the way, switched styles, did whatever she wanted to do, and it just has never hit for me since. I don't think she's... But Crazy in Love is a great song. Great song. Mm-hmm. I guess 2-3 before after leaving Destiny's Child, fire. She's great. Yeah. But not my cup of tea.
Was if I Were a Boy, it wasn't much too longer after this, or Irreplaceable?
Irreplaceable is all around that
immediately after.
Yeah. Irreplaceable is fire too.
Yeah, If I Were a Boy and Single Ladies were during like the Sasha Fierce era. Okay, so moving on.
Can I get a score update, please?
So we're tied for this episode right now.
No, overall though.
Overall.
So we're tied. Oh, so then you're up by 3.
Yeah, I'm up by 3. So it is
68
to 54.
And there's 3 or 2 songs left?
There are 3 songs left. 3 matchups.
So
left.
the best that I can do is tie. All right. Well, ugh. Well, I can't win.
Well, let's move on.
What happens if you tie?
Then you win.
Good question. Then you win.
And I pick the playlist.
And you make the playlist and the movie. Don't. All right,
Someone's
moving
getting Donna
on.
Summers. Go ahead.
We are finally in a section where we are in both mine and Brooklyn's top 10. So, number 236 and 235 are my 5 and Brooklyn's 7. Baba O'Reilly by The Who versus Don't Think Twice by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Brooklyn?
You want to go first on this one?
Sure, I'll go first on this one. Baba O'Reilly is one of the most epic fucking rock songs of all time. Just the amount of like different, like almost like suites that happen in this song, it's incredible. It's almost like a rock operatic piece. Roger Daltrey's voice on here is some of the best rock vocal performance of all time. The whole teenage wasteland, it's only teenage wasteland. And just especially when he's just like, they're all wasted. Bum, bum, bum. And the instrumentation just like, oh, it's so good. That ending though, where you get that crazy string section, is one of the greatest ends to a rock song ever made. This is just an absolutely incredible, dynamic, fucking kick-ass rock song.
So, Don't Think Twice by Peter, Paul, and Mary, their cover in particular. This is the best breakup song. This is like immediately throw it on. And I think it's just very soft, like similar to like how you guys love Stand By Me. This is where I kind of have that love. Like the nylon string guitar is just very soft throughout it. The chord progression in this is great. And just again, opening lyrics, you know, you sit and wonder why, babe, it don't matter anyhow. But my favorite part in this, because this is very much like an American folk, where it doesn't really have a verse and a chorus. It kind of has like the start of it is the verse, but then it kind of ends on the chorus. But like I get to the part, it's like, when your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. And just how the bass line kind of moves in that. It keeps the pace of it and whatnot. And then you get that end line, how it kind of fades out, like, don't think twice, it's all right. And then just the harmony that they add into it. And you get to the like, so long, honey babe, like the light eye that ever knowed. And it's very pretty and somber. And like, if you need to have a good cry, this is the one that you throw on and you just go to sleep.
So yeah, no, Don't Think Twice is a great song. I had never heard it before we made this list. And I think because of that, I'm not at the point yet where I would put it on mine. But I genuinely respect the craftsmanship behind this song. I think that it is a very great song.
Yeah. I guess I'm usually pretty tough on The Who.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. I did pick up something though on re-listen. One of the beauties of having headphones is that you can pick up other stuff. Is that when they're getting into that string part and they're kind of slowing it down, there's still this really cool counter melody that Peter Townsend's doing, and I was like, oh, cool! Like this is kind of neat and interesting. Roger Daltrey is just not for me at this point. He has a couple of songs, but this style, and I think maybe was it CSI that killed it? Maybe not. But
that would be New York. That's CSI New York.
Yeah, and it's crazy though, because CSI New York is my favorite CSI.
It's one of the better. Yeah, it's probably the best one actually.
Banjo agrees. Also loves Gary Sinise, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say Gary Sinise. Just
Gary Sinise is no question on CSI. He didn't have the sunglass turn, but if you asked me when I used to watch CSI in New York, what between these two songs, Baba O'Reilly, a song I've never heard of before, but has instantly been played throughout the thing is "Don't Think Twice." Fucking epic song. I thought I was gonna go with Bubba Riley the entire time, but when I made a face when it happened, I was like, "Oh, this is not," because I love "Don't Think Twice." I think "Don't Think Twice" is awesome. It's right in my realm of who I guess who's the main singer on that song? What's his like? Anyway, whatever.
I
You're
want to say
muted.
that one's Peter, but I'm not sure.
I'm gonna look it up, but it's
Whatever.
crazy. Like
I
this
love-
is
I love
like
his
this
voice.
is the same. This is the same Paul of Les Paul, like of the
Oh.
guitar. Yeah.
Oh, I love his voice. Great.
Yeah. It is.
And I didn't do that just to make it, close.
Yeah,
But
no.
maybe I did.
We'll find out after. It'll be in the comments or something.
Okay.
I don't know what the final 4 songs are. Let me look.
I know just by process of elimination what they are, but
Let's go to my number 4 and Brooklyn's number 6.
Oh, okay. Unless somebody puts something different. One of these people are dead in the water. Like, dead in the water. And I know who it is. And I feel so bad for him. Yeah, move on.
come on.
This is
Come
the
on.
most dead I've
Can you
ever
let me
seen in
just-
my life.
God damn it.
So just real quick before Brooklyn goes into his spiel,
Oh, the Wiggles are back.
the Sound of Silence electric version by Simon and Garfunkel, my number 4, versus Brooklyn's number 6, Brian Wilson by Bare Naked Ladies. Brooklyn.
So this song is about writer's block and just like what can you really do about it? And I mean the chorus really hits it line of bed just like Brian Wilson did. The chord progression in this is great. It has really good uses of like sevenths that kind of keep it open in the middle. But like drove downtown in the rain 9:30 on a Tuesday night. And then like one of my favorite lines, called impulsive, called compulsive, called insane. And then you get into the like ring a bell and I'll salivate. Well, how'd you like that? Dr. Landy, tell me you're not just a pedagogue. The kind of like 2 bridges that they have, like where if you want to find me, I'll be out in the sandbox, and like how that kind of ends, like castles and I'll be playing my guitar and building castles in the sun and singing fun, fun, fun. But then you get into like this very misty part where they're just kind of playing the 2 chords very slowly. And it's like, I had a dream that I was 300 pounds. And though I was very heavy, fought until I couldn't see the ground. It kind of ramps up. And then you have at the end of this just a killer fucking bass solo. And it starts off slow. And similar to how like Georgia on My Mind, where it kind of has like that semi-chromatic rise and fall, similar to this on the guitar work. It's kind of throughout it on the song. If I could kind of just bring it up,
That
here for a
man
second,
just
it's kind of in the
compared
same
Georgia
go.
on My Mind.
This is kind of the main riff in it, and you're just and like you were able to create so much tension with that by basically just speeding it up. And then it has just a big sort of end. They do similar things, and I just think, again, like even the harmonies, haven't even talked about the harmonies in this and just how they're able to kind of like, especially when you get to that last I just can't stop, and then they get into the solo. It's the best Bare Naked Lady song. I'll defend it every day. It's I don't like that it's losing to this song, but yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. That's Brooklyn's inner monologue right now. Okay, so I'm gonna make my speech on the Sound of Silence as short as I can. And knowing me, it may still take a while. That guitar, incredible. The lyrics, fantastic. Like the visualization in the lyrics are awe-inspiring. The harmonies, it's Simon and Garfunkel. Like they've got some of the greatest harmonies of all time. And just the sense of ennui and sadness and loneliness that this song creates. Holy God. Like apparently this song like really started to get a lot like popular after the Kennedy assassination. Or at least like resonates from it, I should say, not directly after. And yeah, it's just The atmosphere, the mood, the visuals that this song creates, legendary. I am going to use the rest of my time to semi-defend Brian Wilson. Semi-defend, because I don't think it belongs this high at all. At all.
Ooh.
I don't even know if it belongs on this list. But I admire the structure, and I think that writing a song about writer's block is hard. And I think that this does it in a way that is fun and enjoyable, and easy enough for some people to resonate. That being said, it's not The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel.
It's no, it's not. I was late kind of catching on to the song. I still I think it just kind of got memed to death, and I like the more kind of upbeat, or even like the Boxer, we're talking about slow Simon and Garfunkel. That's the king. I like the kind of dystopianness of it. I think why there was a restaurant that I used to work at whenever, I think it was when I first joined the community. So opinions were really fresh and about. And there was this kid in high school that was like, hey, I have this project and I need to kind of break down a song. And it's one of these three. And one of them was Sound of Silence. And I was like, okay, let's break this down. And I was like, okay, this is kind of it's kind of has a dystopian nature. And it talks about the kind of the rise of technology. And just kind of the neon nature of it. And then you get into that second last verse, and people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. It's all right, now that we're at this point that we're in kind of in the golden age of pop culture, now this is what we have to kind of survive on, basically. I don't know. I would honestly put A Bridge Over Troubled Water. I think that is a more emotional, slow packed song. But I also understand that I'm in the minority on this. I just hope Cody has something positive to say about Brian Wilson, that my push on Bare Naked Ladies hasn't been a complete failure.
I think your only hope is for him to purposefully want.
My last argument, Cody. If you pick The Sound of Silence, you are giving Andrew the complete control of this list. You still have opportunity to fuck both of us over. And isn't it better wouldn't it be better to fuck both of us over than just me?
Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. That's the Bare Naked. They're the adult Wiggles. They're the adult.
No, they're not.
They are 100% the adult Wiggles. They
listen to more Bare Naked Ladies. There's alcohol. Who needs sleep? A song about fucking sleeper agents.
Who needs Bare Naked Ladies? And listen, I don't want to sound like the 13-year-old person, but band, no naked ladies ever. There's only dudes. Okay, but besides the point. Okay, here we go. This is going to sound like a really hot take, and again, this is a music person speaking. I think Sound of Silence is maybe one of the greatest songs ever written.
Ugh.
I love this song. And every version of the song that people create, hot take maybe not, I don't know how, Disturbed's version of the song, super cool.
It's very good, but anyone who says
Pentatonic's version of the song, really cool. I still think the best version is Simon and Garfunkel. I think the way it is a meme. It's 100% a meme at this point. But when you get into those lyrics and let them play, I love it. I love this song a lot. And I didn't remember what was left. And when I looked at what was left, and I saw Bare Naked Ladies sitting there, and then I saw Sound of Silence. I said, well, if this is the parody, this match makes no sense. Brian Wilson, what I will say, is a tolerable Bare Naked Ladies song. I did not hate it. I enjoyed it for the most part, but fruit salad, yummy, yummy. They're the Bare Naked Ladies. So, Brooklyn, you will be watching a movie and having a playlist.
And we still have one more match.
I'm not Coho. I don't need control. That's not what I need. Let's be real. Watching you, you made me watch Poggy Beach. I'm going to be honest with you. So this is like karma.
Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the final matchup. So number 232 and 231 on our list are going to be "I Melt with You" by Modern English versus "The Mary Ellen Carter" by Stan Rogers. Okay.
What a weird ending
Now,
for you guys. Number one? You missed out on your number one in the combined? Wow. Okay.
I'll give Brooklyn this credit. I had never heard that song before. So I know what a lot of people are thinking. "I Melt with You"? That high? Really? Why? And I'll tell you. It is arguably one of the most impressive sounding love songs ever made. And I think that it's highly, like, overly romanticized lyrics. I think combined with the kind of epic, bombastic, but yet ethereal kind of sound really creates this beautiful scene of these two specific lovers. And I think that world that it creates with its instrumentation, the construction of the song, the lyrics of the song, just like never I made a pilgrimage to save this human race, never really knowing it was always mesh and lace. I think that there's just like a beautiful poeticness to it, which is like just over the top enough, but they know it is, that it creates this utterly beautiful romantic piece. I wish I remembered the lead vocalist name at this moment, but his rich baritone is so perfectly placed with like the synthesizers and just like this chugging momentum that this song has. And it is just a steady pace, and it is just an utterly beautiful piece.
All right. So yeah, this is my favorite song of all time. The first time that I'd heard the song was probably like when I was like 4 or 5. My great uncle was like, this was always like a family recognized artist. Like Stan Rogers is basically our Jim Croce for Maritimes Canada. A guy gone way too soon, also died in a plane crash, but just an incredible storyteller. And just how he fleshes out this story is so incredible. Yeah, my great uncle played this first time I was like 4 or 5, and he does kind of like a slower version of it. It's a little more accessible, and I was like, okay, like this is cool. But I want to discover some more Stan Rogers songs. So I discovered more, picked up some more, and then in like the last like 4 years or so, I came across this version by another Cape Breton artist who's also passed away, John Allen Cameron, and he does a version of this with the Rankin family, talked about earlier on the Mull River Shuffle, and they do like a much faster version of it, and it kind of brings the liveliness of it. So it's like, okay, like I can kind of go back to the song, and then I actually just went back to the original recording of it and just breaking it down section by section, like. When I think about the components of an all-time great song, I think about an incredible story that has fleshed out moments, but has an incredible overall theme. The overall theme of this one just being like facing adversity and rising up to the occasion, even when you're possibly at your worst. You also have this incredibly technically proficient intro where it's them like the fiddle and the guitar sort of coming up, and it has like this kind of like sing-songy sort of feel, and then we're getting into the lyrics now. It's like she went down last October in a pouring driving rain. The first line that really kind of grabs you: the skipper he'd been drinking and the mate he felt no pain, kind of gets you to where we're at here. Like this boat, like the skipper obviously dealing with one of the many adversities of our time, especially in the Maritimes, like alcoholism and kind of the low economy. And then like the Métis felt no pain, where you could interpret that in different ways, where maybe like he was just kind of like ready to go, or he was like something else. And then you get into like the later verses. The owners wrote her off, not a nickel would they spend. Gave 20 years service boys. The insurance paid the loss, and they laughed at us and said we had to go. So we're like, all right, like this ship is done. We talked to her all winter. She's worth $250,000 afloating at the dock, and with every jar that hit the bar, it's like, so as long as we get together, we can take up the strain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. And then again into the chorus, rise again, may her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. All those who loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Then you get back into that intro, which kind of plays as an interlude in between each of these. And then you have these like really interesting moments. You get into, especially right before like, well, we couldn't leave her there. You see, you have like the guitar sort of like starting this really high note and then work its way down, and like the mandolin does this, and then like the bass does it as well. And I think that's a really good job of like mimicking like kind of like waves hitting the wharf, or just kind of like that maritime sort of feel. And then it's like, we couldn't leave her there, AC, to crumble into scale. She saved our lives so many times, living through the gale. Laughing drunken rats who led her to a sorry grave, though they won't be laughing in another day. Then you get into like the best part of the song, and for you to whom adversity has dealt its final blow, with smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go, turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, and like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Then you have this different chorus at the end, but it's changed up, and then like this is where like this is the best lines in music, and I think it's one that just carries out. You get rise again, though your heart it be broke and your life about to end. No matter what you lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again. Like that's almost like a toast. That's something that you can like, that summarizes the song perfectly in 2 lines there. And then just like all of that encompassed with Stan Rogers, just like gravelly and low baritone vocals. I know I've been kind of going long on this, but it's my number 1 song. It's my favorite song ever. I love playing this one, and it lifts up your spirits no matter where you are. It's a very important song to me. And like last year, like when like I know Andrew kind of knows about this, but like when we had like the hurricane last year, like we were out of power for like 2 weeks, like missed shows, recording. And this is just the song that kind of kept me in spirits of like, you know, like we're a strong community, and we're gonna like, no matter what we've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, we're gonna rise again.
I'm gonna keep it super brief. I understand why this is your number 1 song. It makes 100% sense to me. I respect it more than I like it myself. I understand what makes it good. I understand the emotional weight that it carries and why it carries that. Just doesn't work for me as much as I would like it to. So,
yeah, you've talked about I Melt With You like a couple of times. I think it was on like the 80s One Hit Wonders. Like you have this as your number 1.
I have
like
this
it make
number one.
Yeah, like this, it's sneaky good because it has that very like in the verses, it has a very like not stereotypical, but like traditional kind of like new wave sound. But then you get into the choruses, and you have those like you see the difference, and it's getting better all the time. But in the background, you have these drums that are just kind of like ramping up, and I think it's just a very good dichotomy of the softness of everything else, and then the drums that are just kind of like ramping on. And then I think it's like I know that's a part that you really enjoy, but like when they cut out and it's just like him humming, and then you just hear the bass come in, and then it just comes right back. And I think like it's a cool one. I haven't figured out the like, oh, this is what make this song great. It's like, it's not, I haven't figured out, oh, it's this line or it's like this series in the music. But yeah, I respect it.
Cody.
Listen, I Melt for You. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's a commercial song, correct?
I wouldn't say so.
It's definitely been on a commercial, yeah.
There's
I
definitely a
couldn't-
song. There is a definite song from my childhood that says this is a commercial. Coke, something. It's
Macy's?
It was in a Coke commercial.
okay, that's all I could think of the entire time. So I like doing the show because, like I said, every week I get a new playlist of songs that most of the time never heard of or I have heard of, and like I'm a very I have like a playlist with I'd say like my 300 favorite songs or whatever, and I just rotate through. This shakes up everything because I don't like to go out of my comfort zone on songs because like I like to sing in the car, and if I don't know the words, I don't sing. This song was fucking awesome. Mary Ellen Carter is like high up there for me on a song. I just like a good storytelling, got a little twang in there. It goes to the right vibe for me. I Melt for You versus this. Like, sure, this is the final. This is a weird final matchup for me, especially that we had Think and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road like 3-4 rounds ago. But it's an interesting end of you. That's number 3. That's number 1 for you. So like, I would never have. One, I would never have heard the song before. But if I would have guessed I Melt with You is like Bar's third favorite song, like that'd be mind blowing to me. And that's how cool music is. But for a standout, yeah, Mary Ellen Carter is a fun song. And
All right,
we'll definitely be on
a high
replay.
note at least, yeah.
All right, so real quick, real fast, we're going to go through what we've gone through today. So on our list officially, number 260 is Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. Number 259 is Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger. Number 258 is Nowhere With You by Joel Plaskett, Emergency. Number 257 is Georgia on My Mind by Ray Charles. Number 256, It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken by the Tragically Hip. Number 255, I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton. Number 254, Pink Moon by Nick Drake. Number 253, Summer Highland Falls by Billy Joel. Number 252, Vacation by the Go-Go's. Number 251, Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles. Now, halfway through the list, number 250, Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. Number 249, Proud Mary by Ike and Tina Turner. Number 248, Where Have All the Good People Gone by Sam Roberts Band. Number 247, Yesterday by the Beatles. Number 246, Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Number 245, Mercedes-Benz by Janis Joplin. Number 244, Think by Aretha Franklin. Number 243, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Number 242, Devil in a Midnight Mass by Billy Talent. Number 241, Rome by the B-52s. Number 240, Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. Number 239, Border Song, Holy Moses by Aretha Franklin. Number 238, Crazy in Love by Beyonce featuring Jay-Z. Number 237, Stand By Me by Benny King. Number 236, Baba O'Reilly by The Who. Number 235, Don't Think Twice by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Number 234, Brian Wilson by Bare Naked Ladies.
Salad.
Number 230, time! Number 233, The Sound of Silence electric version by Simon and Garfunkel. Number 232, I Melt With You by Modern English. And number 231, The Mary Ellen Carter by Stan Rogers. So, doing just a little bit of math here. So, the final score is me with 68 and Brooklyn with 66. So,
So close, but no cigar.
I am going to be making Brooklyn a 20-song playlist. I will send it to him on Saturday night, so that way, he'll have the week from like Sunday to Saturday night. Maybe I'll share it in the Facebook group. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
But
I don't know if you. Well, after because we're recording ahead of time, so
exactly. Cody, we are now moving on to the section. Oh, you have a proposal or something?
Yeah, why don't you create it and think about it, put the thoughts process. Once the episode goes live onto the channel, that's when that playlist has to be his song for the week. I would say that. So you get enough time to build, curate, see what pisses them off, what makes them happy, and then just throw some of them on there.
Oh, it's even worse.
I like it.
Can I at least get my movie? Like, I can just kind of like bang that out.
Sure. Yeah, I
Sure.
think the movie's fine.
Yeah, I haven't decided on that one yet. Cody, any other thoughts, real fast?
No, overall, I think it was an interesting overall run through where you guys differ. Now I feel like, well, it'll be talking to you two about how much you love a song because it both made your list,
Mm-hmm.
and how much maybe I disagree with it. So I think that will be the interesting side of it. So
Funny enough,
I think
I
the placements of it as well too, where it's like, oh, this person
Oh
had it
my
because there's
gosh.
like, because man, the swings on some of these songs.
I just saw the
fucking
album cover of
bonkers.
one of these, and I went, huh?
Yeah. So for
Okay.
those watching, I just sent Cody the playlist of the first 20 songs that were on
Oh
both of our lists.
yeah, yeah.
Now, one of these literally could have been 500 on one of our lists, but it appeared on both of our lists. So
we're gonna know where it appeared on both your guys' lists, correct?
yes, we will.
Yeah.
Guys, some of these I'm really. There's one song that I currently listened to a lot this past weekend, so I've just realized how much I love it. But listen, if I had to leave the audience with anything, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just saying, this is
Almost
something.
made my list.
This list is wild. We have Think. We have Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. We have Proud Mary just sitting
My
back there.
number one is going to be below some of these songs. That is what boils my brain.
A majority of my top 10 are.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Sound of Silence is sitting in the 230s.
And yeah. Okay. We'll talk. We'll talk next week, guys.
This wasn't my idea. All right.
Hello, darkness, smiled friend.
So, with that being said, tune in next episode when we finally get to the parts of our list where we both had them on our list somewhere. For Cody Newberry, for Brooklyn Vale, for myself, Andrew Barr. Thank you for watching. Buy our shit and keep on rocking.
Help. Please pick a good movie. It's like any